All right, a guy that knows a lot about telling the truth. I love this next guy. His real name's Stephen Davis, but he goes by Maga Hulk. I know you've seen him on social media. He is a crusader for the conservative movement, for President Trump, and he's here to talk about all these lies, and let's call it what it is, Maga Hulk, a race war that the left and the mainstream media have created over the last few years to make Americans fight one another so they can simply get ratings and win an election. Would you agree with that, sir?
100%. This is a consistent thing when it comes to the left. All they try to do is divide, pit citizen against citizen, race against race. It's prison politics when it comes to the left. This race over here, that race over here, blacks over here, whites over here, Asian, Hispanic. Why can't we all just come together? I just don't get it. I'm at a loss for words when it comes to the left, but this is what we come to expect when it comes to the left.
And the media is probably one of the biggest, I think, fuelers of the fire when it comes to this race war that the left has wanted and I think prayed for, although I don't think a lot of them are spiritual. But I think they've prayed for it because they know this is one way. How do you conquer? What's the old phrase? Divide and conquer. And they know that. We heard, what, 4 or 5 years ago in the emails from Miss Clinton herself, never let a good crisis go to waste. So they're using the COVID, they're using this race war so they can divide Americans like you and I, brother, who they want us divided because of the color of our skin, when you and I have a lot of things in common. We might find some differences, but by God, most of them we have in common. And the one thing we have in common for sure is we're Americans, you and I. And we're patriots to this country. Let's talk about the media first and foremost, because I'm sure, hopefully in your earpiece, you could hear what we just ran with Mr. John Roberts. I used to respect this guy. I used to like Fox News. And then I see what they're doing and how they're playing. How many times do you have to ask the press secretary if the president's condemned it when you as a journalist should know he has tons of times?
It's unbelievable. How many times does President Trump have to condemn white supremacy, Nazis, the whole bit? David Duke, the same thing. He has denounced them time and time and time again ad nauseum, and they're constantly putting out this consistent narrative that he has yet to denounce it, that he sides with the white supremacists, that he sides with the Nazis, that he's sympathetic to the white supremacists and neo-Nazis. It is unbelievable. It is gaslighting at the highest order. We understand with our own two eyes and hear with our own two ears what he has said. And what he has said time and time again, he has stood for the American people, has stood for us coming together as a country, as all races coming together, all nationalities, all creeds. But yet and still, the media is trying to put forth a persistent narrative that President Trump is a vicious racist, and we need to stop listening to the mainstream media, the mainstream leftist media, and start looking with our own two eyes and listening with our own two ears when he denounces white supremacy and Nazis.
Yeah, we ran a video yesterday here on the show. I don't know if you've seen it. We've posted it up on YouTube now. We found 20 instances, and then I was watching another conservative network who had an edit similar to ours. They even had a few more from some State of the Union addresses, too. They had about 25 since 2016, when he first came down the escalator, where he was denouncing white supremacists, KKK, Nazis, David Duke, all those idiot scumbag POSs. Let's just call them what they are, because they are hate groups, they're evil people, and the president has denounced them. So I love pointing out, Stephen, and I'm sure you do too, when we find the mainstream media getting caught in their little narrative and their lies. We pointed out John Roberts, but I want to put a tweet up on the screen. I'm not sure if you can only see me or if you can see what we have on the air, but take a look at this. This was posted by our buddy, Grant Godwin, who was on the show last week. He goes by The Typical Liberal. I know you know Grant. He put this up. This is very telling. So this is our buddy Jim Acosta. He is the main White House correspondent at the White House. He's the one that gets into it with the president and Kayleigh McEnany a lot. Look at the dates on the tweets, folks. Trump has finally condemned white supremacists on Hannity. That was last night at 9:51, 10/1/20. See that? Now look at the one beneath that, Stephen. Trump condemns KKK and white supremacists commenting on Charlottesville, calls racism evil. I want you to note the date, folks. See what it says right there? Back in 2017. So Jim Acosta, can I borrow your muscles for a minute? I'd like to go to D.C. and have a discussion with Jim, just me and him in a room for a few minutes.
Please do. Lord have
Kid,
mercy.
I'm just
Jim
kidding.
Acosta.
I don't condone violence. I don't promote it. I'm just joking. I'm just saying, do you see the false narrative? Do you see the BS they spew?
Consistently, and Jim Acosta, Lord have mercy. At this point in time, you should have done your research as a journalist. Should. Any journalist worth his salt would at least do a little bit of journalism when it comes to whatever topic or whatever, do a little research whenever it comes to whatever topic that they're about to report on. So Jim Acosta it has been known time and time again, especially during the Charlottesville, during that whole debacle. Lord have mercy, he has come out time and time again during that 3-day span, like a number of times condemning white supremacy again, time and time again. I don't know how many more times he has to say it.
Oh, Maga, don't get me started on the very fine people line from Charlottesville, because we've already exposed their lies there. I think you and I did it a couple weeks ago. We've shown the clips. The president has point blank said right after that, when he said fine people, he meant the fine Southern people that like their Southern roots and the fine protesters that were trying to get stuff torn down. And then he said, I think, and condemn and don't condone and say they're horrible people, racism is evil, and he called them all out 36 seconds after the very fine people line, but nobody ever plays that for the last 2.5, 3 years since Charlottesville. Anyway, they're giving me the hard rap. Stephen, I just want to get your take on this stuff, because you're online all the time, you're making posts, you're watching these idiots from the left lamestream media make these statements, post these tweets, tell these lies to the American people, and some are buying it. They're literally buying these lies, so we got to keep exposing them for it. And so I just want to have you on to kind of round out that exposure of our friends at CNN and Fox. So have a great weekend, brother. Stay proud, safe, strong. We love you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me again. Yes,
Check
sir.
him out, Maga Hulk, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Coming up after the break in tonight's Patriot Report, she is a proud black conservative running for Congress in the Golden State. We'll introduce you to candidate Rhonda Kennedy. Don't go away.